Breslin's impact. We're joined by veteran columnist Mike Barnicle. Mike, obviously Jimmy Breslin, one of the greats. There won't be another person like him again, certainly not in newspapers. Tell us about him.
Well, you know, Joe, Mika, a century from now, I really believe this, a century from now, historians will look at Jimmy Breslin's columns to get a handle on what life was like in the late 20th century, early 21st century. Dan Barry's obit yesterday in the New York Times was so spectacular. One line, and it sums everything up about Jimmy's writings and how he changed column writing in newspapers, and it is that Breslin inspired every emotion but indifference. And you're just talking about Chuck Berry, and Jimmy Breslin and Chuck Berry prove the power of emotion married to language, and language handled skillfully and magically. Newspaper column writing was never the same after Jimmy Breslin began writing the column. I grew up reading the New York Herald Tribune, rushing down to the corner to buy the New York Herald Tribune to read him 3 times a week, sometimes 4 times a week, in perhaps one of the greatest papers ever published in America, the old New York Herald Trib. But everyone in this business, David Ignatius is there, John Heilman is there, everyone in this business, you could not stop reading Breslin, no matter what you thought of him, no matter what you thought about what he was writing. He was addressing issues in a way that, you know, people could become instantly familiar with it in about 900 lines of typewritten words in a newspaper. And he was a magical writer. I cannot say enough about him.
Mike, we'll get more for you on Jimmy Breslin's impact on journalism a little bit later in the show. Thank you, Mike.
David?
Jimmy Breslin was a man who bled on the page if he had something to say.
Right.
He was
That's
just so visceral. He was a columnist of the story we used to have in America. Mike Barnicle was one of them. Bill Raspberry for my newspaper, The Washington Post. Herb Cain in San Francisco, who just captured the way cities lived. And people read him every morning the way I hope people watch Morning Joe. That wanted to connect with the story. But Jimmy Breslin was a man who said everything that was in his heart, found a way to speak, and was loved by his readers for that.
And he was a New Yorker above all else. One of the quotes that came out yesterday said, "If you're leaving New York, you ain't going nowhere."